Folks, it's fair to say one of the most devastating words anyone can hear, and this is not hyperbole, is cancer.
Words from President Joe Biden as he addresses an audience at Tulane University. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden in town to tout the progress and the future of their Cancer Moonshot program, a White House initiative.
Yeah, Cancer Moonshot is an effort to end cancer with two clear goals.
Those are to prevent more than 4 million cancer deaths by 2047 and to improve the experience of people who are touched by cancer.
And we all know everyone here in Southeast Louisiana has been touched with cancer in some way, shape, or form. We have crews all across Southeast Louisiana covering every aspect of the president's visit today, including us here at Louis Armstrong International Airport. You can see the back of Air Force One right behind us. We were right next to that plane when it touched down earlier today, just before 2 o'clock. They did make us move again for security purposes. As you can imagine, security is heightened right now because of the presidential visit. But let's go back to Cancer Moonshot for a moment and talk about what this program is set to accomplish. As Ella mentioned, the main mission here is to eradicate cancer by 50% in the U.S. come the year 2047. Very lofty goals, but something that the president hopes to accomplish that, of course, has touched him personally. During that address, he mentioned the loss of his son, Bo, who died from brain cancer. One of the main purposes and really what causes him to punctuate this mission. Earlier today, he touched down here at Louis Armstrong International Airport, greeted by several notable faces like former New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu, who now leads infrastructure in the Biden administration, along with Cedric Richmond, another big name with ties to the administration, current Mayor LaToya Cantrell, along with Congressman Troy Carter. Biden, of course, as we just mentioned, has made cancer a focus in recent years as rates across the country and here at home have been soaring.
We found out that there's a lot more we could do if they'd share more data and information. It wasn't being shared. That was the Cancer Moonshot. And then when I got elected, when I ran for president, I decided to set up a cancer facility patterned on DARPA, which is the Defense Intelligence Agency position that is separate and apart from everything else. They're the ones that came up with everything from, anyway, all the major breakthroughs. So that's what we're doing with DARPA, and we're going to continue. We've $1.5 billion the last 3 years, and we're going to continue with it.
Now, today, the president also made a point to talk to many researchers and those really on the front lines. As we first showed you, he was addressing a very packed house over at Tulane University. And that's where we find WDSU's Aubrey Killian with some of the reaction to that presidential visit today. Aubrey.
Hey there, Randy. So it really has been a very monumental day right here at Tulane University. That speech just wrapped up moments ago, but you can still see a lot of people still in the room from where we are at. Again, that speech wrapped up moments ago. A lot of people still here really just speaking about this big day right here. All eyes have been on Tulane University. $23 million in funding for the university. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden, they have been here all day. And Tulane announced that the university will be awarded about $23 million. This is all to create an imaging system. This will give doctors the ability to scan a tumor during surgery and determine within minutes whether any cancer tissues have been left behind. We spoke with a lot of people today, local leaders, physicians. They say today is a great day, and it's one step closer to Americans not having to worry whether or not their cancer was successfully removed. Here's more from that speech that wrapped up just a couple minutes ago.
Imagine cancer surgery that removes all the tumor the first time without harming healthy cells. Compare that to today. As all of you know, cancer surgery is an incredibly challenging procedure. It takes the best surgeons in the world, and it takes its toll on families. As Jill said, it steals time. It steals away hope. Our family knows the feeling as many of you do. The surgery happens, then you have to wait a week or more to see if the tumor was removed fully.
So again, we are live right here at Tulane University. You can see a lot of the staff posing for pictures right here. And again, the speech wrapped up moments ago. Randy, much more on this story and the energy in the room. We're seeing some of the local leaders kind of leaving. We're going to see if we can grab some of them as well. But we will keep you posted right here at Tulane University. Randy, back to you.
You know, Aubrey, for people who weren't lucky enough to get a seat inside or anxiously awaiting just a glimpse of the president outside, WDSU's Jonah Gilmore is live for us right now with what they are hoping to see and the reaction from people who are excited about this presidential visit. Jonah.
Well, Randy, we're live here on Forest Street, just outside Tulane's campus, and there is a small group gathering outside the barricade right here. Just take a look at the few people that we have out here. A lot of people just waiting to get a glimpse of President Joe Biden. We're waiting his motorcade to leave outside of Tulane University, head down Forest Street. I know that Aubrey's inside. He said that those people are starting to come out. Some folks still getting those pictures in, but this is what we're seeing now. I can tell you there was a small group out here earlier protesting. Tulane officials tell us that that group was protesting as the president's motorcade went in. That small group then left the scene, but this is what we're seeing right here. And we still have one of those protesters just lingering around right here. We have Malik Richard, who was here early today. Malik, you were here protesting today. I mean, what was your message as the president went in?
So our message today was lingering on the fact that even though Joe Biden and Jill Biden are choosing to celebrate themselves, they are still dropping bombs on Palestinians and Gazans, all the while trying to celebrate their Cancer Moonshot program.
I mean, and do you feel like your message got across here outside Tulane University?
I mean, I hope it did. We had a healthy amount of cameras and media coverage out here while the protest was out of social media coverage.
Thank you, Malik. And we just want to show you that President's motorcade is leaving to see all of those black SUVs and limousines.
All right, that was Jonah Gilmore for us outside of Tulane University's campus. And as he mentioned, the president's motorcade is about to come back here to Armstrong International Airport. You're looking at it right now. Air Force One is right behind us. He again arrived here around 2 o'clock this afternoon, set to depart now within the next 30 to 45 minutes as that motorcade makes its way from Tulane's Uptown campus and travels along I-10 toward Kenner. Of course, a lot of traffic implications, especially as we are on the heels of rush hour traffic on this afternoon. So we'll have more on that for you in just a moment. But first, I'm going to toss things back to the studio.
All right, Randy, thank you so much. And Jonah and Aubrey as well for the president's visit. He is visiting on a very hot day, Travers. It is another weather impact day here in Southeast Louisiana.
Yeah, for more on that, let's turn things over to meteorologist